Hello, this is the Warmaster Blackhorn guide and it is time to fight on a gunship. A gunship or a flying ship, whatever you want to call it, it has a given amount of HP. Your goal is to go through a couple of adds while protecting the ship. The ship takes damage from the shadowy type projectiles, going to call them void zones. If you stand on a void zone before a projectile will land, you will split the damage with the ship when the projectile lands, and thus you will protect the ship's HP. It's best to start spread around the ship and take whatever void zones are close to you. A big void zone does basically the same thing, just on a larger scale. When we got a big void zone, we found it best to just ignore the little ones and stack on it with a raid wall. You don't want people split between the small void zones and the large one, because everybody takes damage at the same time and that's not good. Just focus on the large void zone at that time. Remember, your goal is to have the ship resist through 3 sets of adds. Your goal is not to end the encounter with the ship at full HP. Some people get overzealous about taking all the void zones. Don't run to them if your HP is low. The melee adds, Dreadblades and Slayers, each tank should pick one, and then on the next set they should switch between the two. Mark one and then kill him first. Both melee adds cleave. It's best to always keep them facing away from your raid, especially if bringing them in the large void zones. They also do a charge attack, not so easy to spot. Move out of the way, of course, if you see it. The dragon type adds, the drakes, they fly around the ship attacking it. They are responsible for the small void zones. They don't have a terrible amount of HP. NPCs will help you. They will periodically harpoon them and bring them closer to the ship. Ranged should switch to them. There isn't much efficiency in having melees switching as well. However, the drakes can be attacked by the melees when they get harpooned in really close. Finally, the most important adds are the Sappers. Smallish in nature, they are the kamikaze bombers of the fight. The Sappers have very little HP and carry a deadly payload. They are parachuted at the front of the ship. They vanish for a second and then appear around the middle. They are trying to make their way inside the ship. Should they succeed and detonate, they will cause 20% damage to the ship. It is imperative that you slow stun and don't let any of them pass by. Once you successfully battle 3 sets of adds, phase 2 begins and you fight against Goriona and Blackhorn. Ranged should DPS Goriona until she leaves the encounter. Stay out of the new void zones. These ones are actually bad. Blackhorn has a really powerful, damaging cone attack that stuns at the same time. This cone attack, called Shockwave, was responsible for most of our deaths in the encounter and is a real challenge for the ranged and healers. That's why I'm going to focus on it a little bit. I like the fact that healers and ranged surviving skills are tested. Of course, being closer to Blackhorn makes it easier to avoid the shockwave. But there is another ability, Disrupting Roar, that silences players within 10 yards. It is imperative that ranged and healers walk this fine line and stay at around 11 yards, not too far to get caught by shockwave, not too close to get silenced. Additionally, ranged and healers can watch for the timer of shockwave. They can move closer to the boss to more easily dodge it. Finally, the less HP Blackhorn has, the harder he will hit. Towards the end, he starts hitting the tanks like a boss. Bloodlust at 40%. Start using raid walls and cooldowns on your tanks and he will go down. Tanks should switch on Devastate debuff. The one that doesn't have the debuff should taunt. That's it, thanks for watching. If you enjoy my guides, please remember to support me by following me on Facebook and giving a thumbs up from time to time. Good luck!